Hey everyone, and welcome to our deep dive into policies for Coinbase Java Platform Wallets version 2. If you're a developer using CDP wallets and looking to implement robust governance and security for your accounts and projects, this video is for you. Today we'll explore what CDP wallet policies are, how they enable you to control transaction behavior, what type of policies you can implement, and how you can manage them through the CDP portal and SDKs complete with a live demo. So let's get started. Let's see first what exactly are CDP wallet policies. CDP wallets support policies that enable you, the developer, to govern account and project behavior. They provide a flexible way to configure and enforce control based on various transaction parameters like the destination address, the transaction value, or even the network. Essentially, policies act as a programmable rulebook for your wallets, ensuring that the operations always adhere to your predefined conditions. So why should you implement policies for your CDP wallets? The benefits are significant for enhancing control, security, and operational integrity. First, wallet transaction filtering. A primary use case is preventing transfers to known malicious or restricted addresses. You can also ensure that transactions only go to approved addresses, also known as halal listing. Second, transaction limits per address or project. Mitigate financial risk by capping transaction values or the number of transactions at an individual account level or across your entire project. Third, network specific rules. Ensure that transactions are only sent to specific networks like Base Apulia for testing or your designated mainnet for production. These capabilities gives you precise control over asset management and smart contract interactions. Let's look at the core components and see how policies function. A policy is defined by few key fields. First, description. A human readable description of what the policy actually does. Second, we have scope. This determines if the project applies at the project level where all of the accounts are affected in the project or just at the account level where specific accounts are only affected. Next, we have rules. This is an array where each rules define specific conditions and outcomes. In this rules array, we can find the action parameter which defines what to do if the criteria is met. This takes accept or reject parameters. Next, we have operation, the type of CDP API operation this rule applies to. Supported CDP API operations include sign EVM transaction, send EVM transaction, and sign salt transaction. And next, we have the most important parameter of this array, criteria. An array of logical expressions that are evaluated against a transaction. All criteria within a single rule must evaluate true for the rule's action to be applied. Examples include checking the network of the transaction, or the addresses involved in the transaction, or the value of the transaction. Now let's go through the evaluation process and see how it works. A policy engine evaluates policies in specific order. Whenever a transaction request is received, a project level policy is evaluated first, and then any account level policies associated with the specific accounts are evaluated. Within a single policy, rules are processed in the order they are defined in the rules array which we discussed before. As you can see in the diagram, the evaluation process and the flow for project level policies and account level policies are same. First, it will evaluate each rule in the policy, and if transaction meets the rule criteria, the action is applied, which could be accept or reject. If there are no rules applied for the particular transaction in that specific policy, the transaction is checked against another policy which might be defined after it. So, for example, if there are no project level policies applied for the particular project, it would move to an account level policy which might be applicable for the specific account. After all of this process, if no policies are applicable for this transaction and no rule was met, the default behavior is to actually reject the transaction. And this completes the flow of the policy evaluation process. You can have at most one project level policy per project and at most one account level policy per account. So an account can be subject to a maximum of two policies. Now let's explore some practical policy examples based on the documentation. So here at docs.cdp.coinbase.com, you will find the Wallet API V2 documentation where you will find the policies section where you can learn everything about how policies work for CDP wallets. So here we have some example policies as well, which we can explore and do our own implementation for policies for our own project. So first we have the allow list policy example. This following example demonstrates a policy that allows signing transactions only to specific EVM addresses. Transaction to any addresses outside of this list will automatically be deleted by the policy. So here we can see this allow listed addresses being specified over here and the type being EVM address and the operation would be sign EVM transaction. So this is an example for allow list. Now let's go through another example which is deny list, which is exactly the opposite of allow list. This following example demonstrates a policy that rejects signing transaction to specific EVM addresses. So here we can see would have an addresses array which would specify all of the deny list addresses. And here the major difference is the operator difference. So as we can see for the allow list, it was in, but here at the deny list, it's not in, basically the opposite. The type and the operation would remain exactly the same. Next, we have a transaction limits example. So this following example demonstrates a policy that only permits signing transactions with a value of 2 ETH or less. So this is a pretty short policy because it's a very straightforward policy. So here we can see the description would be transaction limit policy, and the criteria would be type each value as it's a transaction value based policy. And here we specify the each value in terms of way. So this would count as 2 ETH, and the operator we would be using would be less than or equal to. Next, we have a network restriction example. So this following example demonstrates a policy that only permits sending transactions on the base Sepolia network. Even this policy is pretty abstract as it's straightforward and only that restricts the networks to certain networks or chains. So first of all, we have the description, restricted network policy. And here we would have an operation which would be send EVM transaction, and the criteria would be type would be EVM network as we are applying network restrictions over here, and the network would be base Sepolia, and the operator would be in because we want to make sure that all of the transactions go to base Sepolia. So the final example in the documentation is regarding multi-rule policies. So basically you can combine multiple rules within a single policy, but the order matters as we discussed before while you were going through the evaluation process, because the policy engine evaluates rules based on the order they are set up. For example, you can create a policy that checks the allow list first and then the transaction limit, or you can create a policy that checks the transaction value first, then uses a combined rule to check both the transaction value and the allow list. So let's go to the example and see how you can create multi-rule policies as well. So here in this policy, you can see there are two rules defined. So one is the allow list rule where we specify the different type of addresses which are allow listed. And next we have the transaction rule where we specify the each value for the transaction limits. So this is a multi-rule policy where we have defined two rules. One is regarding the allow list and second is regarding the transaction limits. Next, we have an allow list a second example. So this is another combined policy example where we define the allow list as a second rule instead of the first. So here in this example, there are two major rules. One is the rule for transaction value, and second is a combined rule for both transaction value as well as allow list. So that's the major difference between the first example and the second example. Here we have a combined rule for transaction value as well as the allow list as well. Now you might be wondering what's the difference between these two. So here in the docs they have mentioned the primary difference between these two examples is the rule order in which a transaction is evaluated. So we have discussed this before as well that order is very important when we are defining policies for a project, as policy evaluation is done based on the order itself. So the major difference between the two examples would be the first example would check the allow list first and then the transaction limit as based on the order, and the second example would check the transaction value first and then use a combined rule to check both the transaction value and the allow list. So the major difference that comes here is the order that the rules are specified with, and the policy engine would apply all of these rules based on the order itself. Managing your policies efficiently involves two primary approaches, each suited for different tasks and is governed by a crucial set of security principles that you must follow. There are two primary management approaches. First, UI. The Coinbase Java Platform Portal provides a user-friendly JSON editor. This is ideal for creating and visually inspecting your policies, especially when you're setting up your first project level policy. Second, programmatically. For automation and dynamic integration into applications, the CDP SDK is the way to go. It offers functions to programmatically create policies and crucially to apply those policies to specific accounts either during their creation or by updating them later. It is a required method to manage account level policies. Before you start creating policies, it's vital to keep these security principles in mind. First, secure your API keys. As always, keep your CDP API keys safe. They grant access to managing policies, so the security is paramount. Second, understand evaluation logic. Carefully set up your rules and their order. A misconfigured rule or evaluation order could lead to unintended transactions getting blocked, or worse, allowing transactions that you meant to restrict. Remember, project level policy first, then account level policy, and rules in defined order. Third, Test thoroughly. Before applying policies in a production environment, test them extensively in a development or staging setup to ensure they behave as expected. Fourth, principle of least privilege. Design policies to be as restrictive as necessary for their purpose without being overly inhibitive to legitimate operations. Now, let's walk through how you can get started with defining and applying policies for your project. So, first of all, let's log into Coinbase Java Platform Portal. So, I'll be using my passkey over here. iCloud keychain. Let's use my touch. So once the login is successful, we'll be redirected to Coinbase Java platform portal. Here you can find all the details regarding your Coinbase Java platform APIs, project, and all the other details. You can also find other services provided by Coinbase platform like on-chain tools, payments, checking, and various other product APIs as well. And you can find various details about them in this portal. So here we'll go to Wallets API. And in the Wallets API, you will find a segment for policies. Just click on this button. And once that is done, here we can find policies, set transaction limits, and manage allowed addresses to control how your CDP wallet can be used. So we'll just create a policy over here. So here they already have a template, which is the allow list policy example from the docs. So this is the same example from the docs as well. So here, as you can see, we'll be defining the JSON schema for the policy. So here we have description, rules, criteria, and various other parameters. So I will just click create here because this is a demo and we just want to demonstrate how you can use the Coinbase Java platform portal to create project level policies. So let's click create over here. And that's it. We were able to create a project level policy in just few minutes using the Coinbase Java platform UI. So here you can click on the view button and find the various details of the policy. So now this policy is applied for your whole project and this policy will be applicable to your project. So now the second way to create policy would be programmatically using the Coinbase Java platform SDK. Now let's use the TypeScript SDK to create an account level policy and apply it. This policy will only allow transactions up to a certain amount of each to a specific safe address for a particular account. So I already have my project set up over here. It's just a basic TypeScript project with a mail.ts file and package.json files and ts configuration file. And also we have the env where all of our CDP API keys would reset. So make sure you are set up the env as well. Next, now let's move to the main logic for the main.ts file where we would create the policy, apply it, and test the policy once as well. So first, we will set up the imports and the VM and the CDP clients. So I already have the code over here. So first of all, we import CDP client from Coinbase CDP SDK to initialize CDP client. Then we have create public client and various other utilities from VM to create the VM client as well so that we can get the transaction receipts for our transaction. And next we have the base Sepolia from VM chains to set up the public client for VM. Then we set up the clients. We use const CDP to create the new CDP client. And then we have the VM public client as well, which we set up for the chain base Sepolia. Next, we have the function which would handle the logic for our account policy. So here we'll first create the CDP wallet and then apply the policies for the particular account. So first of all, let's create the wallet. So we have get or create account. So we use const account cdp.evm.get or create account and name would be something like account for specific policy or whatever name would you want. So here we are just doing a demo. That's why this name. Then we console log to get the address and make sure that everything was good. Next, we will set up our mail policy and then make sure that the policy is applied for the account as well. Now let's define the account level policy. This policy would be very similar to the examples that we have already looked upon before. So the schemas and all the parameters would be very similar to the examples that we looked in the documentation. So I already have the definition over here. Let's go through this and see how it works. So first of all, we'll define an account level policy. So we have a safe address, which we already discussed before, where we would be sending some transactions and testing of this policy. Next, we have the policy definition where we describe the various parameters for the policy that we have already discussed before in the introduction of this video. So first of all, we have the scope. So here we have account. Here, if you are doing it for project, just keep it as project. But here we are defining an account level policy and we keep it as const because we want to make sure the type safety is there. And next we have the description account policy less than equal to 0.001 ETH to safe address. Next we have the various rules of the policy. So here the action would be accept, our operation would be sign EVM transaction and the criteria would be ETH value as we are defining the transaction value to the safe address. Next we will define 0.001 ETH in way, and operation would be less than equal to, and the type would be EVM address, and we set up the addresses as well. So this policy is very similar to the examples that we have seen before, and how all of these policies work based on the type and the operator values. So the type and the operator values are pretty important to make sure that all of your policies are working properly and the rules are defined as you meant them to be. Now, once we have defined the policy, let's create and apply this policy for the specific account. So I already have the code over here. So here we just need to do a small type safety to make sure that everything is correct. Okay. So this will make sure that we don't have any particular errors. So here, first of all, we defined a new policy with the cdp.policy.create policy method. So this is the method which allows us to create a new policy that can be used to govern the behavior of projects or accounts. So you can use it to create project policies as well as account policies. So here we will keep the policy definition and we will console log the new policy ID as well. Next, we will apply the policy to the account. So we will use cdp.evm.update account. So this is also a very important method. So always make sure you update the account with the specific policy as well. So first you define the policy, then you create the policy, and then you update the account with the specific policy as well. So here we use the cdp.evm.update account to update the account with a certain policy as is an account level policy. And once that is done, we do some console logs to make sure that everything was perfect and there were no issues, and we get the information regarding the updation of the account policies as well. So now we are done with the policy definition, creation, and application. So now let's do some test transactions and test out these various policies that we have defined as well. So I have the code over here which would get some tokens from the faucet and do some transactions to test out if the policy works or not. So I already have the code over here. So here, first of all, we fund the account from the faucet. So this is the normal methods, cdp.evm.request faucet, and then we wait for the transaction receipt using the public client from VM, and then we test the policy by sending a transaction. So here we send a small amount that passes the policy. So we'll be using a very small amount of each to the safe address. And then we check our transaction receipt and we get the transaction receipt using the console logs. Next, we will also do a small test policy violation as well to see if the policy actually works or not, if there is any violations. So here we will test out the policy violation by exceeding the limit that we have defined in the policy. So here we do a normal CDP EVM.send transaction, but with the exceeded limit, here with the 0.001 ETH limit exceeds. So here it's 0.002, and see if the policy correctly blocked the transactions or not. If it didn't block, that means there was some issue with the code, but there shouldn't be any issues. This is the exact code how we need to make sure that policies are defined. So let's test out this script and see if it works or not. So we have done some small changes like making sure the environment variables are set up using .env.config. Next, what we have done is that we have kept the description name much simpler. And also we have reduced the amount of feed to make sure that we don't have any insufficient balance data errors, as faucet doesn't give out a lot of feed in a single transaction. So now let's test out a script and see if our policy implementation works as we intended to. So first of all, we run npm run build. So this will build a script. Next, let's run npm run start. So created account level policy, applied policy, funding account from faucet, everything looks good over here. Transaction was confirmed, and yep, our policy correctly blocked the transaction as well. So as you can see, our policy implementation was successful, where we first created an account level policy and then we applied the policy for the account and updated the account policies as well. Next, we funded the account and we tested the policy with transaction, which was according to the policy. So basically, we did a small amount of sent a small amount of it to safe address, and this transaction was confirmed. Next, we tested out the policy violation. So here, the amount of it exceeds the limit. So the policy correctly blocked the transaction as well. So our policy implementation was successful. So this is how you use CDP TypeScript LGK to set up account level policies. CDP wallet policies offer powerful tools for governing your on-chain operations, providing a flexible way to enforce security and operational rules directly within the Coinbase Java platform. With the ability to manage them through both the CDP portal and programmatically through SDKs, you can build highly secure and compliant applications. Explore further. Check out the CDP API V2 policies documentation on docs.cdp.coinbase.com to know more about policies, and check out the policy engine API documentation as well to know more about the underlying APIs for policies as well. Also, you can go through the Wallet API V2 documentation to know more about CDP Wallets API version 2. And you can also go to the CDP SDK GitHub, which is fully open source, to know how the implementation works and to know more in detail about CDP SDK. Also, go through heimlabs.com as well to get more such resources on Web3 and blockchain. If this guide to CDP wallet policies was valuable, please give it a like, follow for more such developer content, and share it with others who might benefit. What kind of policies are you planning to implement? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for building it with today. See you in the next one.